One, two, three, four, five in a row for the Sixers. They are peaking at the perfect time, but do they have a chance at the #1 seed? We'll break all of that down and more here on Philly Take with RB.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the show. Hit the like button if you enjoy this content. Subscribe by hitting that red button down below. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of the content. RB back here. Off day yesterday. Sixers off yet again today, and they are awaiting what might be the biggest game tomorrow against the Cleveland Cavaliers in terms of playoff implications. We're going to talk about whether the Sixers can actually somehow storm back to maybe lock up the #1 seed when it's all said and done. And also, I want to throw in something interesting today. I want to give you all a preview at what my dream playoff scenario would be. I'll tell you why that'll happen, and we'll go over a few key updates for the next couple of days. But before we get right into all the news, shout out to the sponsor here of today's show, Aura. Aura is an easy-to-use app that includes everything you need to stay safe online by protecting you from scammers and hackers on the internet. They fight back against all the annoying websites that try to take your personal information and make it public, and they alert you if any of that info is found. Aura is a leading provider when it comes to digital safety and fraud protection. I know a lot of you out there may have had experiences, whether someone tries to hack into your identity or open up a loan in your name or take your credit card info, whatever it may be. All of those are issues that Aura aims to prevent. They also give you near real-time alerts on suspicious credit inquiries, and they even have a VPN where you can search and scroll anonymously online. They have a password manager that allows you to manage all your credentials. So if you want to take the next step in protecting your online safety, go right down to the description, click the link, aura.com/PhillyTake, get a 2-week free trial of all of their services. Link down below, once again, in the description. All right, let's talk about what is going on. So I want to start off with something interesting, right? Last night, I'm hanging out, I'm chilling, off day, obviously. And what happens? What happens in the NBA? This happens. The Boston Celtics might potentially be frauds. And I don't say that lightly. I've watched the Celtics for their last couple games. I did not watch last night because I didn't think there was any way in hell that they would lose. But the Celtics go down to the tanking, rebuilding Rockets. The tank for Wemby Rockets. They're now 2-4 in their last 6 games. They've lost to the Rockets. They've lost to the Cavs, the Knicks in OT, the Nets. Celtics are looking a little bit interesting right now. As good as that team looked, they were the favorite. They were just steamrolling through everybody. And here they are, not looking too pretty and not at the right time either. Here is what happened last night in that game, which I also find interesting, right? Look at this stat line. Doesn't it remind you of something familiar? When Joel Embiid is putting up 40 points and nobody else can do anything. Tatum went 8 for 22 against this Rockets team. Jalen Brown had 43 points. So Jalen Brown has 43, Tatum has 22. How do you not win that game against Houston? Well, maybe it's not only the Sixers that lose a bad game to a bad team. Does this mean anything for the playoffs? No. But when you look at their track record over the last couple of weeks, Celtics are not the same. I'm telling you, I've been watching some of their games. There's just something off. There's something off about them. Not saying they're not going to compete. They're going to be obviously up there at the top, but they might be frauds. They might not be the favorite after all. So something to keep in the back of your mind. Now, we will get back to that in a little while because I want to talk about dream playoff scenarios, but let's give some more love to our guy, Joel Embiid. I put this out yesterday. Joel Embiid has been the best player on the planet. And look at this. The Sixers actually have the best record in the NBA since December. Over the last 3 months, they are 33-10 since they started out 12-12. Remember that? Everybody thought this team, which, feels kind of like their last chance for all this group together to go get one, everybody was falling off a cliff. It was done, right? They were terrible. They were 1-4. They were 12-12. They've been 33-10 since that point. And through that stretch, they had an injured Maxey. They had an injured James Harden. They had an injured Joel Embiid. It's time to start talking about how gritty and tough this team actually is. Because earlier in the offseason, when we all sat here and said, all right, they added some grittiness, some toughness, some dogs, maybe it's been here the whole time. you got to look at it as a whole, right? Like this team has actually been really, really good. And they've had 3 different win streaks and they've had guys go down. They keep fighting through the adversity. I would argue that this Sixers team is definitely different than years past. They're winning certain games that they wouldn't win in the past. It's been very interesting to see for sure. Now, in terms of Joel Embiid, the national tide is starting to turn a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to win. I still don't think he's going to win MVP because of the pure bias that exists with some of the voters. But here's Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins on First Take. They're saying, both of them, that Joel should be beating Jokic for MVP right now. Some people are starting to come around. You're seeing different, articles, things put out. Joel definitely deserves to be MVP. Jokic has lost 3 terrible games in a row. I get it. The guy's been putting up alien numbers. I don't care. You lost the game. You lost to the 11 seed Bulls, the 14 seed Spurs. You lost to the retooling Nets. All right. You tried to hit a game winner like Joel and you failed. So at the end of the day, Joel Embiid has been winning. He's been getting better. The Sixers are getting better, and they are riding an NBA's best 5-game win streak right now. Kendrick Perkins on NBA Today says Joel Embiid is Hakeem Olajuwon 2.0. You want to know something? I think his skill set, from a certain skill set standpoint, is better because guys have gotten better in the modern day, and Joel continues to revolutionize the game. Again, not taking anything away from Hakeem the Dream, but this is a different era now. Joel is unbelievable. He's a 7-foot center. Every game I say it, he does things that just make you drop your jaw. It's just insane. He's on a different plane right now, and I listened to him after the last game talk in the press conference. He just seems happier. He seems to be on a good vibe, and all we can do is hope and pray that him and the rest of the team stay healthy going towards the playoffs. Speaking of which, injury updates. So our guy Jalen McDaniels got banged up a little bit the other night. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to be something too serious. He limped off. He left the game. Doc Rivers says, quote, "It's nothing serious. We don't think. We expect him to be ready for tomorrow against the Cavs, but we don't know yet. But there's no way we are going to let him practice today. We didn't do enough today anyway." Also for the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell battling injury. Cavs are playing the Hornets tonight, so they will be on a second of a back-to-back playing against the Sixers tomorrow. And speaking of which, that is a huge game because in terms of playoff implications, if the Sixers win that game, they now hold a tiebreaker, which could really come in handy against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tough schedule the rest of the way, but they need to win this game tomorrow. Primetime game, make a statement, show you can again beat another playoff team, extend it to 6 wins, and obviously get that tiebreaker. Huge for the Sixers. Now, let's look at a couple schedules. So, again, 15 games left in the regular season for the Sixers. And with that Celtics loss, they are now 1 game behind them for the 2nd seed, and they are 3.5 behind the Bucks for the 1 seed, riding an NBA's best 5-game win streak. If the Sixers win tomorrow and the Celtics lose, the Sixers will be tied for the 2 seed. It has just been a crazy sequence of events. I've actually pulled up the final standings as of today, obviously not including the games that are going on right now, and the final schedules for the last 15 games. Again, Sixers 3.5 out of the 1 seed. Here's the Sixers' final schedule. They have to make the most of it over the next 5-6 games, rack up as many wins as they can, because as you can see, this final stretch is pretty brutal. Golden State, Phoenix, Denver, Dallas, Toronto, Milwaukee, Boston, Miami, Atlanta, Brooklyn. I think they can win a good amount of these games. I think they're on a hot streak right now, but let's be honest, right? It's not going to stay like this. They're going to lose games. And when they do, I know everybody's going to try to jump off the cliff. I mean, it's bound to happen. They're going to lose a game or two. But they need to win a majority of these final games. Now, you look at Boston's schedule. I don't think it's necessarily easy, especially with the way they've been playing, right? A couple interesting ones, Sacramento and, Milwaukee in there, Sixers, a couple against Toronto. Celtics should be able to win a handful of these games. Milwaukee, though, in my opinion, has a fairly easy schedule, right? After they play Phoenix, the only really games I see Milwaukee, because again, they're 20-2 in their last 22. They got Denver, they got Boston, Philly, and then they, ended off on a couple, which I think Milwaukee should probably win. So if you're asking me right now, can the Sixers get the 1 seed? My urge would be to say no, 3.5 out. But again, 15 games is a long time. If the Sixers keep winning this way, I think they can get it. I actually think the Sixers are going to get the number 2 seed. I'm telling you, from watching Boston, I'm not seeing it right now. I'm not seeing it. And the Sixers are peaking at the right time. Again, this is the third big win streak they've been on this year. They're just hitting on all strides right now. They're hitting on all of it right now. They're playing their best ball. Doc's coaching well. Guys are trusting each other. They're coming back, winning these games. I think the Sixers could end up with the 2 seed, which would eventually leave them with maybe who? The Hawks, the Heat, the Knicks in the first round, and then what? Boston in the second round. And my playoff dream scenario, here's a little insight into it. My playoff dream scenario, Sixers beating the Nets in the first round and the Celtics in the second round en route to the first Eastern Conference final since 2001. That's right. I don't want to play the easiest teams. I don't want to back down in all this. I don't care who they play. Honestly, at this point, I'm done wishing for whatever. But to see the Sixers beat the Nets, Simmons probably isn't going to play, right? But just beating that Nets team and having those bragging rights, and then to take down the Celtics. I know they haven't beat them this year. Maybe I'm crazy for wishing that. But to beat those two and then see maybe a Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think that would be a really good path. If the Sixers match up against the Knicks in the first round, for example, I think it's going to be an annoying series. I think the Sixers will beat them in 6 games, but the Knicks are feisty right now. They're working. Everybody's all hype at the Garden. The Knicks have a little something special right now. The Hawks, I don't think can do much. The Heat, I don't think can do much. Toronto would obviously be annoying. This is the path I want to see right here. Smack the Nets 4-0 and then beat the Celtics in 6 games. Go to the Eastern Conference Finals and get it done. That is my dream scenario. We'll see how it plays out. But it is interesting. It's interesting to see the way things have turned. People don't want to necessarily dive all in and believe yet on the Sixers, but I'm telling you, there's something that feels a little bit different. There's something that's a little bit special right now. Not saying they're the favorite or that they're going to get it, and go all the way, but this team is different. Joel, James, all clicking at the right time. And the X factor is not James. It's not Tobias. It's Tyrese Maxey. Those 3 cannot be stopped when fully executing and fully healthy in a playoff series. That's my full belief. But we will see how it all plays out. Can't wait to see if the Sixers can get this W tomorrow and keep it rolling. Give me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And with that being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.